What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about LCX token today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about the price. We've had a lot go on since we've last talked about it. Actually, what was the last video that I made for LCX? February 11th. So about 9 days now, a little bit more than 9 days now. It is the 21st, very early of the 21st here. 21.8 cents now. We've moved up quite a bit since the old 11th here. What was my last video? What did it say? Multi-100x potential. Good, good, good. Talking about that at the lows. I love that. Daily time frame here. We look at this. We zoom out. Stop talking about myself so much. From a high to a low, we have broken above the 382. Nice. Good job. Hell yeah. So the low's in. It's not confirmed. It's not official, but pretty strong chance the low is in. So that's good. Finding resistance at an area that you would expect to find resistance. Okay, it makes sense. You got above the 382. Inevitably, we will come back and see prices that are above 40 cents and onwards and upwards to prices that are above $1 and so on, right? So we're at 21.8 cents now. I very much believe that we probably pull back to just below 20 cents, something that's around 19.4 cents first, right? On a daily basis, we've moved up a little bit over the past week. We've moved up, I say a little bit, right? From a relative low here on the 12th to what we just saw. That was a 51% pump in about a week's time, right? So a little bit. We might retrace a little bit, right? And that makes sense. Oftentimes, whenever you do break above the 382, you do pull back to the 236 to find support. Now, I'm not saying you have to go there. I'm just saying that's oftentimes what we do. And that's a pretty harsh rejection off the 0.5. You got right above the 382, right back below it. Pretty consistent with what we expect to see when finding resistance here and going to your 236, okay? And yes, you found resistance at your 0.5, but you closed right at your 382, okay? I think you do go back to your 236. Let's see if we can make sense out of that from a low to a high fib. Let's see. Low to high here. That's at your 0.5 area. You could go a little bit below the 236 and go to this golden ratio, just below 19 cents. I'm just saying above 18 cents but below 19 cents, that wouldn't be bad. Even if you go lower, even if we were to go below like 17 cents, I think we're fine. As long as we're getting higher lows. It should have been obvious that we were about to sell off as we moved higher. Volume died off. It's just happening, right? It just happens. Looking at the 4-hour RSI, very dominant and established uptrend. You know, I don't think it stops here. That's awesome. Absolutely, I think we go lower. You know, we come down, we find a higher low. But I think we've got deeper readings in the RSI to go, you guys, which means it's not going to be too long. So we're looking at this on a 4-hour basis. It won't be too long. I'm talking days, like less than a week's time. By the end of the month, makes sense. We'll be breaking out of this downtrend, right? We will see a breakout of this trend, and I would anticipate, right, continuation. If we moved up here, consolidated down like this, I would expect a move up that is comparable, if not larger, than this move here. And I do think it'll be larger, but let's go over that real quick, okay? So looking at this thing, I would say yes, this is the low, but the move really started here and it ended here. Yes, this is the high, but this is where it ended. Okay, so that's your move. Whenever it comes time to move, you haven't made it yet, right? You're going to consolidate, but whenever you break out of this range, it might be the move. So let's just say you break out in a couple days or in like a week or so, your breakout line is a little bit lower than where you are now. It's somewhere around that point, right? If I was to make it higher, it only adds to my point that the price goes higher. So let's be conservative. Let's put that breakout point there at about 21 cents, whatever. It's below the current price. If we were to see a comparable move to what we saw here, that would put the price firmly at about 80 cents. Now, I don't know about you guys, but 21.8 cents up to 80 cents, that's not bad. That's not bad. I wouldn't complain about that at all. But I do think we go higher. I think we go significantly higher. And obviously by the end of the cycle, we will go higher. But I'm talking about end of March, end of April, mid-April, whatever time that our next high comes in. I'm talking about this next move, right? We had a move here. We consolidated. Where does the next move stop? I don't think it stops here. And just comparing it to the last move, what I'm saying then would be that we are about to have a stronger move up. And absolutely, damn right we will, right? LCX came off of a very long downtrend here from April of 2024 until November of 2024, multi-month downtrend, okay? And it just had a sporadic move up where it found resistance at its highs from 2024. It's not its all-time highs, but it's the highs of the cycle. It found resistance there, getting in the way of that. When you break out of this, instead of a multi-month, and I guess this is a multi-month downtrend still as of right now, but it's a lot smaller, it's a lot tighter, it's a lot more uniform. When you break out of this and you see new cycle highs, Not new all-time highs. Well, inevitably, yes, new all-time highs too. Actually, let's add that to the equation too, right? If you were to see the same move as the last move, not only would you break above your cycle highs, but you'd break above your all-time highs as well. Is that accurate? Let me just see, because LCX existed before. I'm just on the Coinbase chart. Let's go. This is where it hurts me to use the Coinbase chart, monthly time frame. So your all-time highs are at about 58 cents. All-time highs here are at about 68 cents. Okay, cool. So maybe not on the Coinbase chart and on this chart, whatever chart it is, you will be at not just new cycle highs, but new all-time highs as well, giving me more reason to believe that this next move would be stronger. You're coming from a more powerful position here, in my opinion. Finding support at prior areas of resistance, going back all the way back into the cycle here, right? Finding support there. If you don't like my line, you think I'm cherry picking, let's just put a flat line here, put it at the base, and then boom, you're finding support right at previous areas of resistance. It's beautiful. Instead of finding support all the way down here, you're at a much more conclusive area of what used to be prior resistance and is current support. And also, is that the golden ratio from a low to a high? You couldn't even touch your golden ratio, man. Look it up. Look up what happens when something is supposed to retrace, and what happens when you skim the golden ratio without touching it. I bet anywhere that you look up on the internet, any person you talk to that knows fibs, they'll tell you that's very bullish. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. That's what you want. That means that there's so much buying pressure, because the rationale behind this, you guys, is that I keep getting all over the place, by the way. We're going to get back on topic as to where we're going to go, okay? But the rationality behind why it's bullish to skim the golden ratio, the 618, but not actually hit it, is because you and I are not the only people that can see this. There's things that aren't even people that see this. Bots, trading algorithms, and they base their moves off the recent lows and highs too. There are computers, there are human beings who are aware of the golden ratio. There are computers, there are human beings who are aware of previous areas of resistance right here, previous areas of support, previous areas of resistance back there. You know what I mean? Whenever you have all of these key areas culminating together, all these eyes on it, draws a lot of attention here. So when there's so much buying pressure and there's probably not a lot of selling pressure, you get these moments where you can't reach the normal area that you'd retrace to. And whenever you have that much buying pressure that you can't reach the normal area that you retrace to, that's anything but bad, right? That's anything but, that generally means let me put it in a different way. If you hit the area, cool. You found support in an area you expected, great. You're loading up, that's great. But if you're so bullish that you can't even get down there, wouldn't that imply that it might be better? Not just great, but better? I'm just saying, that's my thoughts. When we go higher, getting back to this whole thing, how high are we going to go? Right? That's the question to ask here. I want to look at the all-time history, because I think this chart will be more accurate, right? This high is at 58 cents. Coinbase's high is at 68 cents. I attribute that 68 cent high on Coinbase as a early first day listing, low liquidity mania. Order books are open, the market makers let it go that high so they could just sell it and dump it on the retail, stuff like that. It's retail investing on Coinbase whenever it's first listed, so it's mania. This is what the accepted kind of general high is. So I'm going to take that high to low here. When you break out, when we move higher, this was a move right here that we saw, right? This cycle. This was a move that we saw this cycle. This was a move that we saw this cycle. That was a little bit too big. This was a move. The next move that we see, the minimum target would be up here at the 1272 at $1.30. We're at $2.20 now. $1.30 is your minimum target. This target here from the current price, or at least from that low, from the low that we're at here, would be bigger than the last move. Good. It would be a little bit smaller than this move. Okay. And then bigger than that move too. So that makes sense. The move that, in a more mature bull cycle, we're a little bit further along in the bull cycle, you're about to break out to new relative highs in the cycle and your all-time highs themselves, it would make sense that this would be one of your biggest moves in the cycle, right? We just made sense out of that. It makes sense that not only would it be bigger than the last move, but it would be one of your biggest moves. But however, this move here was a little bit bigger from the low to the high, wasn't it? It was just a little bit bigger, just a little bit. So I offer this. What if this next move is the biggest move that LCX has seen this cycle? After all, as bull cycles continue onward, we often see the price get stronger, not weaker, right? And that's not always the case. But if you look here, I mean, let's just see. Let's compare it real quick. From a low here to a high in this month, that was 1,800%. from a low here to a high there. I mean, that was 1300. So yeah, you got a little bit lower. That might not be a fair example because this is just like early day stuff. Again, mania kind of crazy stuff. It's not really fair. It's not a great example to give, but I feel like if you look here, we did finish with the bang. That's all I'm trying to say is that generally, and this again, it doesn't have enough historical data to really compare. Let's look at something like Bitcoin, BTC, real quick. Okay, just because I want to prove the point that I'm trying to go for here. Okay. Okay, again, early times don't really count because that's just sporadic madness. If we look at the beginning of the cycle, right, let's just put a line right in the middle of it, right here, right, like right there. I mean, is this part moving up more or is this part moving up more, right? It's clear the last part of the cycle moves up the most. Was this the biggest move of the cycle or was the last move the biggest move of the cycle? You know what I mean? And that's just how it is every single cycle, right? You saw this was a really big move overall, but the biggest move on a monthly closing basis was the end of the cycle every single time. That's how it is. LCX, as a cycle progresses, and I'm not saying this next move is the end of the cycle, I'm just saying as it progresses, it's logical, it's reasonable to expect bigger moves to occur than what you've seen prior. So this move here that we have that goes to the 1272 at $1.30, that is bigger than most of the moves that we've seen, but it's not the biggest move so far. So if it were to be the biggest move, which it very well could be, we would then likely see targets above $2. We've finally gotten to the point above $2. With the 1414, it's very common to see prices that are just above it, therefore giving us the strongest move that we've seen this cycle. So that would validate that. I suppose we could go all the way up to $3.65, though I'm not anticipating that personally. I don't think that's where we go. I think a good target area, just to sum it all up, $1.30 to $1.99. Probably let's even go a little bit above $1.99. Do we have fib targets there? Let's see. From a high to a low here, what do we got? $3. $3, sure. Let's say that. $1.30 to $3, though I don't think we hit $3. I'll be ecstatic if we do. But $1.30 to $3 is what I expect. I accept $3.65 as the possible highest target that we could achieve by the end of this move. And I think this move will end by the end of March, if not middle March. So any and all of these targets from a minimum to the highest in order is anything from a 5.8x, 488% growth, to potentially the expected area would be anything from about a 9x to a 10x in growth, something like that, maybe an 11x. If it goes up to $3, I wouldn't think it goes to $3. I would think that it probably goes just above $2. That's really like 10x to 12x territory. If it does go to $3 though, that would give us a target of about a 13, 14x. And if we see 365 happening, that is an overall 16.5x taking place. So anything from a 16.5x at a maximum to a 5.8x at a minimum is on the table for LCX whenever it moves up. I hope it's very clear as to why. What we're doing here, what this whole thing is doing is very, very bullish. You found support at very key areas, right? Doesn't seem like it, but let's look at the weekly time frame. Very key areas, right? Previous areas of resistance, resistance, support. A little bit of turbulence here, not so much. A little bit of support there as well, though. You found key areas of support here, which is also at your golden ratio, right? Or no, it was just above your golden ratio. That's right. Right? Now it's at the golden ratio. It's because I was using the Coinbase chart. Whatever. My point about skimming the golden ratio still stands, but here you found support at the golden ratio. Whatever. It's fine. Or was it this that you're finding support of the golden ratio? I can't remember. High to low. It was this. Okay. So this one you skimmed. This one you found. So you like your golden ratio. That's good. Very positive fib stuff all around. Okay. Beyond the fibs, this next low that you found support at was at even more, I would say, key areas. Very obvious areas of resistance. Very clean areas of resistance and support. You're about to get the next higher low in this move up that's overall coming. And you're about to break out to new cycle highs, which would inevitably lead to breaking out to new all-time highs. I hope it's clear as to why I expect a price at a minimum at $1.30 in the next month and a half, if not at a maximum of around $3.65. But again, I'm thinking something more around $2 to $2.50, probably in that zone. If not, $1.30 is fine. I'll take it. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I think LCX is a force to be reckoned with. I think it's going to do very well this cycle. Overall, what I think it's going to do by the end of the cycle, it's at 169 million. Nobody knows. Nobody knows the future, but I do know what potential the future holds, right? This coin has the potential to see a market cap that is worth tens of billions of dollars. A $17 billion market cap would be about a 100x from here. So when I say tens of billions, I'm talking about 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 billion is possible. And a 100x is at $17 billion. So trust when I tell you, this thing is a multi-100x capable coin. It absolutely is. It's not my biggest hold personally, but it is a coin that I own. It's a coin that I'm decently invested in. It's a significant investment. It's not the biggest hold that I have, but if it moves up the way that I think it will, it has a chance to become my biggest hold, assuming that nothing else that I'm holding moves up as well. But I really do like this coin. I think that it's going to do very well. I think that it will outperform the majority of the crypto markets over the coming month. That's all I got. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.